It's an eggplant extravaganza, all on today's show. Julie Taboulie's Lebanese kitchen is made possible by
Do your thing, do your thing, do your thing. Syracuse, do your thing. Do your thing, do your thing. Syracuse, do your thing.
American, Italian, Indian, Sicilian, French, Lebanese, Japanese, and Chinese too. It's all about eggplant, made just for you. Oval and oblong, long and lean, to egg-shaped and exquisite, along with everything in between. Eggplants are extraordinary. From simple and sophisticated to earthy and exotic, eggplants are excellent selections for sauces and spreads, soups and stews, stuffed, and even pickled eggplant too. My Eggplant Extravaganza all starts with a signature starter or side dish called Batenjen Mishwee, a fire-roasted eggplant and garlic smoky and sultry spread that sets up my magnificent main meal, internationally known as Sheikh el Mahshi, my star dish delight of the day, showcasing baby Indian eggplant, sautéed and stuffed with a mouth-watering meat and pine nut mixture, then blissfully baked away in a tomato-based casserole that is bubbly as can be. Last but certainly not least is a specialty Batenjen Mishwee, eggs and eggplants that is excellent in taste and in texture too, and I know that you will love all of my eggplant dishes just as much as I do. Black beauties, white beauties, purple beauties too. It's my Eggplant Extravaganza made just for you. It's our Eggplant Extravaganza today, and I'm so excited because I love eggplant so much, and there's so many delicious dishes in Lebanese and Middle Eastern cuisine that feature the eggplant. And today I've selected a couple special ones for you that I'm going to be sharing with you all today that I think you're going to just love. And the first one that I'm working on right now is our maza, or appetizer, or small plate dish called Batenjen Mishwee. And Batenjen literally just translates to eggplant, and Mishwee is grilled. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing with these beautiful graffiti, also known as zebra, eggplant that are part of the Italian family of eggplants actually. And you can see this beautiful sort of light purplish hue with those sort of white streaks running through them, and I think they're just going to make for a delicious Batenjen Mishwee dish today. So what I'm doing is simply sort of puncturing the skin and going through the flesh of the eggplant with the tip of my sharp serrated knife, just like so. The puncture marks are going to help the eggplant flesh to roast evenly through. And just like that. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to simply get them on our hot grill right over here. And just put them on like that. So I'm just going to let these grill away here. I'm going to be turning them, as I mentioned, a couple times throughout the fire roasting process. And in the meantime, I want you guys to take a look at Mama's garden, where we have our Eggplant Extravaganza front and center for you. And we're going to learn all about how she grows eggplant. It's an Eggplant Extravaganza right here in Mama's glorious garden with Mama. Hi, Mama.
Hi, Julie.
She's our eggplant expert for today because she knows that I love eggplant so, so much. And every year she makes sure to plant me all sorts of different types of eggplant.
Yeah, I focus on a lot of varieties. I do like eggplant myself.
Yes, you do. Our whole family does, actually. My sister especially as well.
And it's always a challenge for the eggplants. They're unusual. They're different than any other plant you put in your garden. They need actually more tender, loving care.
TLC, love from mama to the eggplants.
So certain eggplants, I can't find them in a nursery, is plants, so I start them from seeds before the spring in the greenhouse and wait till they're a little bit mature. And then I don't take them directly to the garden, I put them in planters. And they seem to do a lot better than putting them directly in the garden. So they're at least maybe a couple of feet tall, and then if I want to, I can again transplant them into the garden.
So Mama, from the greenhouse to the garden, when do we really start to see the eggplants coming up and ready for picking?
It's like at the end of July, early August, and they'll produce eggplants till the snow comes.
Thanks, Mama, for your eggplant expertise.
You're welcome.
Isn't Mama a master gardener? She really does have a green thumb, and I'm so lucky to have her growing all of these glorious goods for us. Okay, so it looks like our graffiti or zebra eggplant, also part of the Italian family of eggplant, are beautifully charred and gloriously grilled up, as you guys can see, just like that. Isn't that beautiful? That's definitely what you're going for. You see that nice char on them, and that's actually around the entire eggplant of each one of these. So now what we're gonna do is we're simply going to just take our sharp serrated knife and just slice off the end tips, just like that. And then we're gonna slice down the center, just like so. I have cook's hands, you know, so I can I can take the heat a little bit, but if you want to let them cool just a little bit, just enough, you know, so that you can work with them, that's okay too. But it is best to actually scoop up the flesh while they're hot, because if they cool too much, then the flesh gets a little bit more tougher. You know, it makes it harder to scoop up. Smells so smoky in here. If you love smoky flavor too, by the way, you're just gonna love this maza, this small plate dish. And what we're going to do first is that we're going to put it into a fine mesh sieve that I have right over here. We're just going to sort of press, using the back of our spoon, press the flesh down into the fine mesh sieve, because I want to release any liquid, any sort of liquid coming from the eggplants. It's going to kind of make our finished dish, our Batenjen Mishwee, more substantial. And the other reason is that the cooking liquid that releases from the eggplant tends to be a little bit bitter. So we definitely don't want our eggplant spread to be bitter. And now we're just going to simply finish this up. I have some garlic that I've mashed into a nice creamy paste. And this is about 3 cloves of garlic, just like that. And we're also going to need a little bit of sea salt. That's about ½ a teaspoon. And we're going to get our extra virgin olive oil. Okay, and then we're just going to get a big fork just like this, and we're going to sort of mash it all together. Kind of mix it together too. Once you kind of press all of the flesh down with the back of your fork, you want to just incorporate the olive oil and the garlic and the sea salt evenly throughout all of the eggplant. We're going to plate this. Look how beautiful that looks. And now we're just going to take a little bit more olive oil, and we're just going to sort of drizzle it right on top. And we're going to get some freshly chopped flat leaf parsley as well. Gives a nice, really sort of refreshing bite to the smokiness. And if you like, I have another spice that I want to introduce to you all, and it is Aleppo Pepper. And it's sort of like crushed red pepper, but it has a much more intense sort of smokier flavor. Okay, now we have to give this a try. I have some warm khibz, our pocket pita bread right here. I'm gonna do a traditional, kind of make it into a little scoop, if you will, right? And just take some of this. Let's give it a try. It's delicious. It's so rich and robust. It really has such intense flavor because we, basically grilled the eggplant. You can have even more intense flavor if you fire roast it out on the grill. And next up is a magnificent meal that is starring our Indian eggplant. So I have begun making our second eggplant dish, which is very extraordinary. I can't help myself, of the day, which is our Sheikh el Mahshi. And it's basically our stuffed Indian eggplant, and it's just delicious. We're using these small Indian eggplant, as you can see, and they're just so beautifully colored. Look at the skin. They're nice and purple, kind of match my top. And they have these little cute stems, and the first thing that we're doing, which I've begun already right before me, is we're basically taking off all of the skin from these Indian eggplants. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to set it on our board just like that, and we're going to use the end tip again of our sharp serrated knife, and we're just going to make a slit going down the center. We're not going to go all the way through the Indian eggplant because we want to be able to hold the mouth-watering meat and pine nut mixture that we're going to make in just a second. We just kind of want to get it deep into the flesh without going all the way through. Just like that. I've added about 3 tabs of butter. We're just going to let this get nice and hot. We're going to let the butter completely melt, and then we're going to start to brown the Indian eggplant in batches. All right, I'm going to turn our heat off, just like that. I'm going to shift some things around. And now we're going to start making our mouth-watering meat and pine nut mixture that's going to be stuffed into these delicious little eggplants. I'm going to get 1 onion to start with. We're actually going to just use our sauté pan that we browned our eggplant in. And now we're going to get our lamb meat to meet the onions. You can see that I left a little bit of fat actually in the lamb meat because when we're making our fillings, our meat fillings, we want it to have lots of flavor, especially with lamb meat because it's lean, so it's nice that we have a little bit of fat running through. And if you prefer not to use lamb, then you can certainly use beef. And we want our pan nice and hot because we want the meat to brown up beautifully. So I'm actually just going to turn it up to high. Now I'm just going to season this up. We're going to grab our sea salt and our black pepper. And I also have some of our allspice as well. How beautiful that looks. All right, now at the same time, I'm going to get our other little small sauté pan. I'm going to turn the heat on this because we're going to brown up our pine nuts or pignoli nuts. I'm actually going to have the heat on low because those pine nuts are so delicate, so they brown up really fast. And we're just going to take about a handful of some pine nuts, just like that. Got a couple more than a handful, right? And we're also going to season these too, just a little bit of salt. I'm going to toss those around. They're going to brown up really quickly. So while we're sort of making sure that our meat is completely cooked, these should be finishing up as well. Okay, looks like our pine nuts are done. Look how beautiful those look. They're nice and lightly golden brown, which is definitely what you want. And our meat is completely cooked at this point too. So now we're just going to immediately get those into our meat mixture with all that delicious buttery goodness too. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? We're gonna actually just turn off our heat at this point. And then that's it. We're just going to finish it with some freshly chopped flat leaf parsley. Give some greenery to this meat mixture that we have. Our mouth-watering meat and pine nut mixture is going to taste absolutely sensational in our little Indian eggplants. And speaking of Indian eggplants, I bet you can guess where I grabbed these from. Of course, it's with Mama in Mama's garden. So I'm gonna take you into the garden so we can get a closer look on how she grew them for me. So now we're right here in Mama's garden with Mama again. Hi, Mama.
Hello.
And we're talking about one of the eggplants that we use all the time in Lebanese and Middle Eastern cooking, and that is our Indian eggplant that we're using today for our star dish of the day, our
Sheikh el Mahshi.
Yes. And as you can see, they're just growing so beautiful and so healthy right here in the garden. And you know, the eggplant are just sort of dangling right off. They're like little gems, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. As you can see, they start from the flower in here right next to you, and then we have different sizes in here. And this is pretty much almost mature, and you can use it for your baba ganoush or your Batenjen Mishwee.
Yes, love those recipes.
Any other dishes that you need, you know.
Yeah.
And
these little ones, yeah.
These are beautiful. This is for your Sheikh el Mahshi. It's perfect size.
Yeah, it is perfect
and
size.
This one is a little bit small,
pinky.
but yeah, but
baby
for pickling,
right?
Or a little bit bigger than that. So you know, you pick any size that you want, depend on the dish that you're making.
So, Mama, what is the best way to actually pick the eggplant from the plant here?
Well, I actually like to get them with my pruner.
Okay.
And it's a lot easier to get them that way. They have little prickly things in here, and that way you don't damage the plant as much, and because it's pretty strong to get them out.
Right.
That's it.
So that's great because you don't damage the plant itself,
Right.
and you definitely don't damage the eggplant either, and you keep them nice and healthy and intact for cooking all of our recipes that we're making today. And I can't wait to get back into the kitchen, Mama.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. I especially love picking these Indian eggplants in Mama's garden because I just love how adorable they grow. And what I've started to do is I've actually started to just sort of with my fingertips just pull apart the slit that we made before we browned the Indian eggplant. We want to just open them up a little bit because we're going to start to fill them with our mouthwatering meat and pine nut mixture. Okay, so we're going to just take one of our Indian eggplants. We're going to take a little bit of the mixture. It's just best to sort of stuff it right over the pan of meat here, just like that. Who would have thought that you could stuff these Indian eggplants like this, right? Giving you guys some new ideas out there. I'm just going to continue to stuff our little Indian adorable eggplants that I have right before me, and then we're going to layer them into our casserole dish. So now we are composing our extraordinary eggplant casserole, and I'm just drizzling a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of our pan, as you can see. And I'm going to take some beautifully finely diced tomatoes. You could use tomatoes on the vine. You could also use plum tomatoes or a nice fresh garden tomato, just like so. Okay, so now we're just going to get our Indian eggplant, just like so. We want to kind of nestle them really close to one another. Nice and tight, just like that. Okay, look at that, beautiful, right? Okay, we're gonna get another layer of our finely diced tomatoes. And we still have some of our mouth-watering meat and pine nut mixture left over, so I'm going to use the rest of this as well. So nothing goes to waste, right? And now I just want to put a little bit more of our allspice, the essences of cinnamon, clove, and nutmeg. Just sprinkle some right on top. And then a little bit of our freshly and finely chopped flat leaf parsley. Okay, so now we are going to get this into the oven. I have the oven preheated at 350 degrees. It's going to bake for about 25 to 30 minutes. So I've begun our final extraordinary eggplant dish of the day, which is our eggplant and eggs. And in Arabic, we call it Batenjen Mishwee, which basically just means eggplant and eggs. So I'm using our white beauties for these, which I think is going to make a delicious eggplant and egg dish. we're gonna get our olive oil. We're gonna drizzle this into our pan. And we're gonna get our heat on medium to medium high. And we're gonna start to get our, I'm using a Vidalia onion, but you could use a Spanish yellow onion, or you could also use a red onion, whichever you like. And we're also gonna get our shallots, which I love. I love cooking with shallots. They're sort of a cross between an onion and garlic. They just have a really wonderful flavor to them, a little bit of sweetness too. And some garlic. We're just gonna toss these in the oil. And we just wanna get the aromatics a little bit translucent before we add the eggplant in. All of our aromatics smell so delicious. They are ready for our eggplant. Our white beauties are going in, just like that. Oh, I think this is actually an extraordinary dish because it's eggs and eggplant, which you sort of rarely see. We're gonna salt these as well, a little bit of sea salt to make sure we season every layer. Every ingredient needs some Lebanese love. So now I'm turning our heat to low, and we're going to get our eggs involved in this. So I have some beautiful brown eggs. I'm just gonna crack them right over, just like that. Gonna kind of try to do one in each corner going around the pan, and then one in the center. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Just a touch of sea salt on each one. And a little bit of freshly ground pepper. I feel like eggs love pepper, don't they? And I'm gonna add a little bit of our allspice. I have that sort of flavor going on in all of our other dishes today, so I think it goes really lovely with the eggplant. Okay, voila. Now, you're gonna bake these eggs. Let's get them in the oven. So our eggplant and eggs are gonna bake at 350 degrees for approximately 10 to 12 minutes, and then it's time to finally feast on our extraordinary eggplant dishes. Yumminess is calling my name today. I want to get a lot of that eggplant on my plate too. I think I'm going to go for the egg first. Sort of really anticipating this. Look at that, it looks so good, right? It's just delicious. I love the aromatics and the white eggplant, and the egg is just cooked perfectly, as you guys can see. And now I just want to slice into that Indian eggplant. Just kind of scoop up a little bit of the filling. Those Indian eggplant are so tender. They have this really delicious sweetness to them. And the meat mixture with the pine nuts and the parsley and the allspice, it just really is sort of like comfort, you know? It's like a comforting taste. So I am so happy that I was able to share all of my extraordinary eggplant dishes with you all today. I really hope that you make these dishes at home for you to enjoy with your family and friends. And until we cook again, I wish you and yours to always take global hana, eat in happiness. Cheers, Mama, to our eggplant extravaganza.
Right. Look
nice
awesome.
and juicy. Look at that. Look at you too,
Maybe
Mama.
yeah.
Some tomatoes too on that.
That looks
Go.
good. Thank you.
Oh, yummy.
Looks good.
Oh my God, that looks fantastic. Mama, we made our eggplant extravaganza today.
Yeah, we did.
Mama, we have outdone ourselves again.
With the eggplant.
With the eggplant.
With all the eggplant.
All the eggplant. Eggplant everywhere.
Julie Taboulie's Lebanese Kitchen, authentic recipes for fresh and flavorful Mediterranean home cooking, is now available. The cookbook offers 125 recipes, hands-on instructions, and tips and tricks to help you make all of Julie's dishes from this season. Cook, create, and celebrate Julie's authentic recipes right at home. To order a copy, call 1-800-PLAY-PBS or order online at shoppbs.org. Join Julie Taboulie for fresh and flavorful Lebanese foods for your family and friends at julietaboulie.com. Find Julie's authentic recipes for the tastiest Mediterranean home cooking. It's Julie tested and Mama approved. Visit julietaboulie.com today.
Julie Taboulie's Lebanese Kitchen is made possible by
Do your thing. Do your thing, do your thing. Syracuse, do your thing. Do your thing, do your thing. Syracuse, do your thing.